I guess the best thing be telling who we are.
Who are you?
I know who I am. You know who you are?
I'm the good-looking one.
You must be sitting in the wrong seat.
Huh?
You're sitting in the wrong seat then.
How about that? I'm the one with a good-looking hat.
You paid more for yours than I did mine.
I don't even know where it come from. I didn't buy it.
I bought you one of these and you lost it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Bad to do it. Hey, folks, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of UGG TV, the Wild Bob and Ronnie show, and I'm feeling wild tonight. I want to fly.
Folks, if he lifts off, I'll call you and you can deaden the timber in case he wants to land around.
So what's going on up your way?
Well, we've been to doghouse construction.
Well, I saw that the doghouse business was coming along pretty good.
Yeah, we specialize in doghouses now.
That's good.
Healthy dogs.
They're insulated too, aren't they?
They certainly are insulated.
Said that right.
For insulated walking
Right.
dogs.
What was his name that ran the PTO club? Jim Baker. Jim and Tammy Baker.
That wasn't a PTO, that was
Yeah, it was.
no,
Praise the Lord, 500.
no,
Yeah.
wasn't PTO.
PTL.
Okay.
Yeah,
PTL.
PTL. Yeah. Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
I praise you. I went down there one time, and the place I was looking for, I've told you this before, was on the same street name as the PTL club. But PTL club was actually, may have been in South Carolina, just below Charlotte. And the place I was looking for was up in Charlotte. So I stopped at the PTL club. I went in, there's a bunch of people there, and I told them, that I was lost. But it took me an hour or two to let me get up off my knees there at the altar and explain to them that I was geographically lost, and they finally directed me on up to, I did know the name of that road, and they probably will come to, but directed me on up the road there to where I was supposed to go, but they told I was...
Did you see Jim and Tammy Faye?
Hey, no, didn't say Jim and Tammy Faye, but they told I was spiritually lost, and now, I did meet, what's the guy that was president of Liberty College? Died. Huh?
Falwell?
Yeah, Jerry Falwell. I knew Jerry from a couple of different occasions. Back in the 50s, when he was just starting out in his ministry, he came down to Greensboro to organize a Easter sunrise service up at I don't know the name of that place now. They used to work there up there at Lakeview Cemetery up in Greensboro. And big plans, big deal, a lot of choirs, a lot of singing, that sort of thing. And I worked with him very closely in organizing that thing in the late 50s. And then I went up to Virginia, Lynchburg, I believe, yes, Lynchburg. And his second in command up there, I built a swimming pool for. And I saw Jerry several times over the course of over a week, I believe it was, while I was building that swimming pool, and talked to him. And he remembered me, this was in the 80s, and he remembered me helping him with that Easter sunrise service back in the 50s. So I knew Jerry Falwell pretty good. He was a pretty good man,
Well, I guess you was neighbors to Billy Graham too, wasn't you?
No, never met Billy Graham. I've been to one of his revivals.
Well, he's a North Carolina boy.
Yeah, well, I go by the Billy Graham Center when I go down home back where I'm from. All the time, and I know where it's at, but I never been there. I have been to Flat Rock, and
he's about as old as Moses, ain't he?
Huh?
He's about as old as Moses, ain't he?
Who, Billy Graham? I believe Billy's but probably in his early 90s. You know, that's not old.
Moses is 120.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's right. Let's see. What was Carl Sandburg? Now, I met Carl Sandburg, who wrote some of the Lincoln biographies, and lived at Flat Rock, North Carolina. I had a goat farm up there. And yeah, I met Carl Sandburg, and but I never met Billy Graham nor his son. Never met any of them.
By the way, folks, I know we're early, but I also know that this will be on tap. You can watch it over and over and over again till next week, and you get to see another. And we'll be on live TV tomorrow night. But this one here will be here for your use for a whole week, and then here you can look a little deeper and find it right after that, on and on and on after that.
At least.
Yeah. This is forever. This is like
continual motion.
Yeah, this is like one of Bob's mausoleums. Right, it's forever.
Who said there wasn't perpetual motion?
Well, I've noticed water runs downhill along with other things.
Like the fellow said, he wanted a house where it'd be downhill going and coming, you know, and wouldn't know whether he ever realized that dream or not.
Well, all them old people used to walk to school uphill both ways, you remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They'd lead you to believe that. And the snow was always knee-deep.
Yep.
But I did run to school.
Both downhill both ways?
No, I didn't run home. I wasn't too anxious to get home. There was too much work at home, so I kind of...
Yeah.
So I was I'll taking my time. Yeah, Ronnie's got his girlfriend at the door, so I'll go ahead and talk to you a little bit. Back years ago, I used to... I had to walk to school. I lived about 1 mile from the schoolhouse, and I was always so... I wasn't mischievous or what I was.
It's for you, Bob.
Who is it?
Jeremy White.
Huh?
Jeremy White.
Jeremy
White.
What's he do? What's his claim?
I don't know. It's you he wants to talk to.
Well,
they sent him down here, they said.
Go ahead and finish telling that story. I just get ready to tell that.
I'll have to make it up like you do then.
Make it up. It'd be just about as accurate as if I told it, you know.
This is kind of an informal show here, folks. We're about as informal as you can get. Bob is doing that high finance. Go ahead, Bob. I'll take care of it. You got to remember the story. Okay. I'll put my fingers there between the pages. Well, folks, I know that you don't run into a show like this every day, but see, we working people. We also try to make a living while we're doing all this foolishness. And Bob's out trying to make a living doing some foolishness right now. I guess I'd go ahead and tell you about our fine sponsors, Dixie Concrete in particular, since they have been with us so long, and they good people to do business with. They got concrete products, everything associated with forming and fixing and reinforcing. They got them big old concrete blocks you can use for boat anchors or dirt retention or something like that. They got complete septic systems. All you got to do is provide the contents. And they honest, dependable, hardworking, and call them when you need some concrete and they'll bring it to you. Dixie Concrete. Now I don't have any wild stories like Bobby T always tells, but I could make up some too if I need to. I guess mostly I'd like to say that we have had an unusual amount of rain, as I know everybody is well aware, which is a good thing if you're trying to grow you something to eat, because I've seen things green up real fast. I hope you got your garden out and everything's growing, and you're going to have all you can eat and share some with your neighbors. And if you get it all picked and washed and cooked, call me and you can share some with me too. Ain't that low down? You got something you don't want to call me. If I can use it, I'll come get it myself. I just seeing and looking at the headlines here, seeing if there's anything unusual going on. Looks like our State Department's not too well respected by the Russians anymore. Evidently, Secretary Kerry had to wait on Putin for a good while because maybe they know he's well, I guess I'll just keep my mouth shut. But I don't think that we have hardly the political status abroad that we used to have. That probably got several reasons. Don't see anything interesting going on. We're supposed to have a whole week of rain. It ain't got here yet. Hopefully it'll pass us up, but I got a feeling we're gonna get our part right here shortly. I'm sorry I didn't check this information that I'm looking at here a little earlier, so I could just have brought it to you, but but I had not checked it because we were kind of off schedule a little bit. The folks down at City Hall, the Follett City Hall, is supposed to pick us a new city administrator this evening. Shouldn't be too long from now, so when we have our new man or woman, we'll see how that works. We will find out just exactly who holds the reins to the city again. There are 12 candidates now. Started out with 21, and supposedly everybody has a fair shot at it. The only out-of-town person is a Mr. Jack Miller of Crossville. And the locals are Shane Burris, Tom Hatmaker, Billy Russell, David King, Bill Comer, Mark Wells, Andy Wallace, Travis Davis, Gabrielle Burge, Greg Brackett, and Darrell Roberts. And they're supposed to have the meeting starting at 6 o'clock, so you can watch this show and then rush over there and watch that and see how that works out. I'm taking bets in case somebody wants to call in and place one, because I've got a pretty good idea who they're going to pick. I think they picked them a long time ago. They just have to make the show, but that's just my opinion, and I may be completely wrong. I was wrong once. It's been several years ago. Well, I noticed that we are getting finally finished up with all our new signs for people who happen to drive in Campbell County. Either we are the dumbest bunch of drivers who read well, or we've got somebody wasting our money as usual, because you have to be able to read well to read all those new signs, and you've got to be a complete idiot to not know what they already told you. You shouldn't be on the road if you need them. I'm for putting up a stop sign occasionally, but some of this is ridiculous, and you might agree with me or might not. I've got a sneaky suspicion that those solar-powered flashing lights, caution lights, probably cost somebody an arm and a leg because it's part of the green revolution. Everybody knows there's nothing cheap about a green revolution. Never has been, never will be. The Navy is hard pressed for money during the sequester, as is the military altogether. But I noticed they went ahead and approved that their $29 a gallon biodiesel, approved that contract so they could stay green while they were going in the red. Common sense is not at all common in government. In fact, you don't approach government thinking with any rational business sense because there's no rational business sense involved in it. That used to be a puzzle to me, why I could watch politicians spend money in such a stupid fashion, and I couldn't really figure out why they did that. It didn't make any sense at all to me as to why they would do the things they did when it was totally wasteful. Till it was explained to me that to think political business, you have to think completely different from everyday business, because in politicians' mind, the more you spend, the better you've done your job. They see all money is to be spent and all opportunities to raise money is to be tapped. Now, there are several theories as to why politicians feel that way, and since I'm speaking generally and not about one politician in particular, I will be willing to voice my opinion that a great deal of the spending that goes on in government, especially local government, goes not for the betterment of the people, but the betterment of the politician. If you spend money by the shovels full, you're more likely to have a little fall through the cracks into the pockets of friends, or maybe even into the pockets of you. Don't think that happens so much as direct payout. It happens as favors. In other words, if I get my buddy a contract to do something, whether it needs doing or not, and he inflates the price because he can, he's really appreciative in one way or another that sometime down the line he's going to scratch my back because I scratched his. And I hate to say it, and just like I said, I'm not naming names, and this is a personal opinion, but I believe that has a lot to do with the way spending goes on and spending choices goes on all the way from local government up to the top. I noticed that the Obamas cost us $1.2 billion last year. Now, I know that some of that expense is unavoidable, and I know that we can't expect them to live in a shack, and we've got to guard them and protect them. I understand all that, but I'm just here to mention that $1.2 billion will buy you 35,000 Cadillacs. I've never owned anything except a junk Cadillac one time. I don't want to own one. But the whole point is our government is so wasteful from ground level all the way to the top, just like $47 or $49 a gallon diesel. That's without any road tax too, folks, because the government doesn't pay taxes. I'd like to thank our viewers for tuning in tonight, and I'd also like to mention to you that we do have sponsors. And one of those sponsors is Wilson's Gas. Looks like my accomplice is back, my cohort in crime. What are they doing out there?
Yeah, exactly. Huh?
What are they doing out there?
Good.
Something driving.
That's Richard running around your
Okay.
forklift. Where's my
Oh,
speaker? Did you finish my story?
no, I didn't even hear the start of the story. I was out there answering the door for you.
Were you? Okay, well, good deal. Where are we at now?
Well, we're going to finish telling about 5625444 Wilson's Gas right down there in the middle of the road in Sawmill Holler.
That's, what did I say it was? 48 flavors.
48, Baskin and Wilson's.
Baskin Wilson's Gas Company.
Yeah,
48 flavors of gas.
5625444.
Right.
Now,
he's opened up a complimentary line of spray scent for people to use it.
He ain't got the Wild Bob and Ronnie scent, does he?
No, but his first one is called Low to Pinto Beans.
Oh yeah, boy! I tell you what, that's one thing. It may be flavored when it burns, but whenever it's running raw, it ain't too pleasurable. Well, now what was this tale you were telling?
I was just telling them you were talking about all them old people having to walk to school, and it was uphill to get there, and it's uphill to get home. You know, just ready. They had it rough, you know, and the snow was always knee deep, you know, and
they didn't have no shoes.
And didn't have any shoes, and now me, I did have to walk to school.
How far was it?
Well, it wasn't but a mile. But the reason I was so, I'm going to say mischievous, you know, I actually was.
You know, I heard a school teacher say mischievous one time, and I knew she didn't know what she was saying.
I was actually mean, if you want to know the truth about it.
Mischievous is so much kinder.
I used to get in a fight on the bus every day, going and coming.
Uphill both ways.
They'd have to put me out, you know, sometimes they'll let you out in that fight, side ditch and finish the fight, you know. And so I said, well, heck with that, getting towed off every day, so I would run to school. And it was roughly a mile, and I would leave my steps of my dad's house when the first bell rang.
Could you hear it?
Huh?
Could you hear it?
Yeah, I could hear it back then. And I would be in the schoolhouse by the time that second one rang 5 minutes later. So when I went to college, I decided I'd go out for track, and
you couldn't run without hearing a bell, could you?
Right, I said, he said, who's your track coach? I said, Pavlov. So I said, you have to ring the bell to get me to run. But Dale Ransom was his name, and Dale said, you ever run any track? I said, no. He said, well, we'll need to time you on the mile to see how you can do. I said, well, I'm going to run it in less than 5 minutes. He said, you're not going to run that mile in less than 5 minutes, not ever having to run track. I said, yes, I am too. I come in like about 4 minutes and 56, 57, 58 seconds, something like that. And he said, I wouldn't have believed it. He said, where'd you learn to run like that, chasing rabbits? I said, no, running to school in the morning. I said, I run it for about 12 years I had to run it. First grade of school, I got thrown out.
Well, did you go to school same place through high school?
Huh?
Did you go to school?
Oh, yeah, I had first through 12. In fact, when my brother graduated, they only had first through 11. But the school down the road had 12 grades, and he was a pretty good athlete too. So they recruited him to come down there for the 12th grade, and he was built like a bull. He was a big, muscular boy. And so he never played football in his life in the 12th grade. And the first day of practice, I think he injured 2 or 3 of the ones that were playing on his side, you know. But he finally got in. He was the fullback, and they just handed him the ball, and he just walked all over those boys, you know. And he's a pretty good athlete. Could throw a baseball real hard. I had a brother that played in the majors. But this one could probably throw harder, but he didn't know where it was. He didn't know where it was going.
Well, who do you play for in the majors?
Philadelphia Phillies.
Philadelphia.
Connie Mack.
What was his name?
Jack Andrews.
Jack Andrews.
Yeah.
What was his RBI?
I've forgotten. That's been so long. That was in the 40s.
How long did he play?
He didn't play too long. And the reason is he went in service in 41. He stayed in 4 years. He got out in 45. He came out and played college baseball, which that put him like, he was like 24. He's like 28 years old. When he got out of college, he picked a couple of years in the minors and went up for just a brief stint up there, but he was about wore out when he got up there. So
He'd already been in the military.
oh yeah, he was a commander of a PT boat, and he had 2 of them shot out from under him.
Name wasn't Kennedy, was it? Wasn't Kennedy, was it?
No.
Wasn't a PT 109.
No, it wasn't 109, but he had 2 of them shot out, and
Sure was careless.
huh?
He sure was careless.
Yeah, said that way.
Give him a boat.
Said they'd go in those lagoons, and when they turned to go out, said, man, they'd unload on them then.
They'd give him a boat and he couldn't bring it home.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of history there. And the school, I enjoyed, of all what I've done, I've enjoyed my school years the most. My elementary school, my high school, my college years, I enjoyed the time I was in school the most.
Well, I have to say I enjoyed being out of school more than the rest of the
I
time.
really enjoyed it, especially, when I was at home, and then they didn't have junior high. They just, you went first through 12. But when I got up, and my other brother, well, after they went in the service in the Second World War, all that work basically fell on me. I was 8, 9 years old, and having to do all the work those other 3 boys had done prior to going in service. And so I enjoyed it at school. That was easy compared to what I had to do when I got home. We'd raise about 5 acres of popcorn.
Popcorn?
And we would shock it up where it would properly dry, and then we'd shuck it and shell it and clean it and sell it to the movie theaters in Greensboro.
Any Rettenbachers in your family?
No Redenbachers. I wonder how come you never did see Orville Redenbacher and Jimmy Carter in the same room at the same time,
Well, one of them got more freckles than the other.
Right. Yeah, we'd take one of them big old 10-gallon metal cans, and about every week we'd take one of those to town and sell it to one of the movie houses.
How much you get out of 10 gallons?
I don't remember. My daddy handled all the money. All I did was
the work,
cutting it and the shucking it, racking it and the shucking it and the shelling it. I had one of them old shellers like this that you shelled it,
You ever did shell one with a cob, did you?
Yeah, what?
You ever did shell corn with a cob, did you?
No. I never did.
We used to shell corn for the grist mill, and we'd shell it with a cob.
Right.
You take a cob and just, after you get started, just take a cob, push against the corn, and break it off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know how it's done. We never did have to do that.
Well, we didn't do anything except a little meal,
Right.
just for what we ate at home. We didn't shell corn commercially like
Right.
some people.
Well, we'd shell. We had to have a sheller. We'd shell for the meal. We carried corn to the meal for.
Well, I've used one of them shellers.
Cornbread, and the cornmeal, and we'd carry wheat over there and trade it for flour, and so I've been through all that. Those days, it's so sad that a lot of people never get to experience the things that I've experienced in my lifetime.
Yeah, a lot of people thinks that everything comes from the store. They don't know most of it comes from the dirt.
Right. Well, now you take the ones that I had living here. The ones I had
Put it on your shirt.
The ones that I had living here. They lived here several months. It never dawned on them I had 4 or 5 crock pots sitting around to get a crock pot and cooking some beans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was really tasty to them when I cooked a pot of beans and gave them some. I had 3 or 4 refrigerators sitting around all the time. They never thought until I told them to plug up a refrigerator and keep some of the stuff in the refrigerator. These are people in their 40s, and honestly, they decide to cook some beans. Eventually, says, "What do you put in there with the beans?" I said, "Well, you put ham hock, or you can put some ham meat, or you can put some bacon." I said, "Just
or you can just put water."
Sure you can. But
I don't like greasing mine.
I do. I like mine greasy. And
I don't. I just put water and salt and enough sugar not to taste.
right.
If you put enough sugar in to taste it, you've ruined it.
Oh yeah, I know that.
But it'll knock that little keen whang off of it if you put a little bit in it.
Yeah. I bake some good beans. Now
Well,
tomorrow I've got my stove and everything cleaned up and working up in the concession stand. And we're going to do a trial run on some biscuits tomorrow. And so if you want some biscuits and gravy or
I won't be here.
some sauce, you're not going to be here tomorrow?
No, not all day. I'll be in and out. I'm going to work on my house tomorrow.
What time are you going to be here tomorrow?
I don't know. Whenever I get loose out there, come down here. Sam's going to be here.
Huh?
Sam and Richard will be here.
Right, okay, but I wasn't
Me and
gonna-
Ike's going to work on the house.
I was going to feed you some good sausage biscuits.
You know, Murphy brought me two lunches. I don't know whether one was. I guess she knew Ike was here. I don't know. She brought us 2 containers of roast beef, taters, gravy, and light bread and slaw.
Right,
Wouldn't let me pay for it. It's good
Right.
stuff.
right. Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she's all the time bring me something good to
Right.
eat.
She's a sweetheart. And but yeah, we're gonna do a trial run and see how Holly make. I've eaten her biscuits before; they're good. She's going to make some biscuits tomorrow.
You gonna open it up? Start
No, I
peddling?
won't open it up till after June because my license. I won't get them put on it until after June.
Well, you gonna use it up there or take it to flea market?
Well, no, neither one. I'm gonna use it up here some and take it over across the mountain some. Take it over across the mountains on Saturday afternoon and Sunday.
You ought to put it on a houseboat.
I ought to, shouldn't
Yeah.
I? You know, I want that pontoon boat I got with a hole in it.
I don't know. Where's it at?
It's a 24-footer. It's sitting up my house.
Did you ever check on that one there on top of the hill, Hicks Hill?
Or,
There, top of the hill.
yeah, I stopped and asked him. He said he didn't want to sell it. That's not a pontoon boat. That's a boat. You look at it close. That's a boat.
It ain't pontoon?
Uh-uh.
Well, I knew it was inboard.
Yeah.
It ain't got no motor on it.
No, I know that.
That's
yeah.
the reason I wanted it, was to put an inboard motor on it.
Well, no, what I was wanting it for was those booms on it to operate sand pump. The hose on the sand pump's what I was interested in. And I've got that 4-cylinder Chevrolet inboard outboard motor with a prop on it. Remember the one I had up here? I bought off of Danny up at the radio station?
Yeah.
And I sold over.
Ooh.
Huh?
You know what gets wrong with them, don't you?
What?
People don't drain them and let the the manifolds crack, and you
Right.
can't buy
Yeah, I
them.
know that. But that one's been drained. I haven't had any. Danny had it drained when it was up there, and
I didn't know that was what that was. The motor's worth more than the boat.
Oh, I know that. Manifold's worth more than a boat.
The what?
Manifolds.
Yeah.
Yeah, manifold's worth about $600.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've got that. I could have put on that boat out there on top of the hill.
I've got that little 4-cylinder in that bay liner out there.
Right,
And if I had it on a pontoon boat, I'd be in business, but
right.
I can work on that with a screwdriver and a crescent wrench and a pair of pliers. It's just a car motor.
Right. Well, I believe that pontoon boat probably would hold that concession stand.
You can just drive it out on it.
Well, that concession
Chain it
back
down.
it out on it.
Yeah.
You know, that concession stand weighs probably 5,000 or 6,000 pounds.
You put it on there and get it out there and you start bubbling. What are you going to do
then? Sell fish sandwiches.
Yeah. You know, I don't know what the law would say. I know there was somebody had a ice cream concession stand on the lake last year. I read about it. But I'm a thinking if a fella had a hot dog stand out on the lake,
right,
you could stay busy on weekends, because if you go to one of them there boat docks, they charge you a fortune, and it's hard to get in there and get back out and everything too. If all somebody had to do is drive up on a jet ski and hand you $2 and get a hot dog and going down the lake, you know, just drive by window, it wouldn't be no trouble to do that.
Well, those are good pontoons that I got. They don't leak or anything. They're 24 foot long. That's a 16-foot trailer, I believe.
I tell you what, if you can figure out how much volume you got in them pontoons, if you can get the measurements off of them.
We get into the power around there.
If you get into them, if you measure them pontoons, I can tell you pretty much what it'll float.
I tell you, pontoons are 24 foot.
How big around are they?
About that big. I'll have to measure them. I don't know what they are. I expect they're about 12 inches.
Well, every cubic foot of water you displace is 62 pounds of buoyancy. Every cubic foot of water which you displace is 62 pounds of buoyancy, flotation.
Buoyancy.
Actually, yeah, 62, 63 pounds.
Right.
But that's 8 gallon, around 8 gallon per cubic foot, and around 63, 4, 5.
8 times 8, 64.
Yeah.
Coach. Yeah. And well, you take if it's 24 foot long, and I put in the radius, we're talking about you come close to handling that thing.
Well, let's see, 24 foot, if there's round and they're
Let's say it's a foot.
A foot?
Yeah, let's say they're a foot.
Well, they're more than that, ain't they?
Probably 18 inches.
Okay, let's go 1.5.
Okay. We're figuring, folks. I always thought pi were round.
I know, but that just shows how dumb you are.
We're doing some very complicated calculations now.
1.5 times 1.5 divided by 4 times 3.14 times 24
Twice.
times 62 times 2 something ain't right. Times 3.4 times 1.5 times 1.5 divided by 4 times 3.14 times 24 times 62 times 2. Well, I get 18. Oh boy. Let me find a calculator here. That ain't no count.
Yeah, okay, yeah, do that. Because
equals, well, I don't need that. Let's see, 3.14 times
1.5.
1.5 times 1.5 times 24. Let's see, pi d squared 24 times 2 times 62 divided by 4. Well, that comes up to 5,256 pounds.
That's close.
Uh-huh. 2.5.
You could pull the axles out from under it.
Well, now you need to measure it. Of course, now you don't want it floating just ready to go under.
No.
Every time somebody steps on it, you have to throw something overboard.
I can pull down there. I can pull the broad scales down here and get a
Yeah.
figure on it.
Has it got a plug in that there?
Oh, what?
Has it got a plug in them things where you can fill them full of water and let it back out?
What?
Them pontoons.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what you can do.
What?
You can fill one of them up and take it and weigh the boat, the pontoon boat, and then let the water out of it and weigh it again,
Right.
and whatever the difference is, double it, and that's how much they will float.
Right. Okay. I can do that.
I mean, you can fill both of them up, but that'd be dumb assuming they're the same size.
Right.
I know we're entertaining, folks. We're out here figuring out how to float a boat.
You just don't get this sort of thing over your drive-by news.
Yeah, you don't see this kind of serious computation.
Right. We get
for you folks that just tuned in, we're early, but if you want to see reruns, they'll be instantly available as soon as we go off the air. You can watch part 1 if you want to. And being as we've got your attention, I need to tell you about Vital Care. Bob here knows all about them. He rides with them.
I guarantee I have first-hand experience with Vital Care. Because there was a moaning and a groaning, and I dialed 562-9370, and I said very plain, help! You know.
And they come got him.
They come and got me.
Fetched him to the hospital.
Yes, they did. Where I recuperated.
Where he recuperated.
I guess I did. I'm still
and they
here.
just about recovered from the incident, too. 562-9370.
40-some years experience in the ambulance business. It does not cost the taxpayers of Campbell County or the taxpayers any money for their services.
That don't mean they do it free. It just means they earn their money.
Right.
And if you can't remember the phone number, you can still dial 911 and request Vital Care.
Tell them you want Vital Care. Tell them you want the bestest ambulance service in Campbell County.
So, what do you got for sale, Bob?
Well, I've got some real nice weed eaters. I got about 5 real nice weed eaters.
I bought a weed eater off of you one time and you wouldn't.
Huh?
I bought a weed eater off of you one time and you wouldn't sell it to me after I got ready for
I
it.
didn't deliver it, you know. So the weed eater happened to have 4 hooves, 4 legs, you know, and a whole big bunch set of teeth.
I contracted a weed eater in the fall, and I thought if Bob kept it through the winter, I wouldn't have to pay that part. But then he wouldn't sell it to me when summer come, when I needed it.
I learned on that pig you bought from me in the spring and wanted the same price in the fall.
There was a person who wanted to pawn me a pig one time. I couldn't see no future in that. At least no profitable future.
No, couldn't either. Well, you know.
You got weed eaters, you got lawnmowers, you got one.
I got a couple of I got just a little bit of work to do on one of them. I got one of them ready to go, and it's a pretty decent lawnmower. It's a lawnmower. It's a 2-stroke lawnmower, which those will run forever. You can't wear them out.
They sure do make a lot of noise, though.
No, they don't. This one don't.
Got a muffler on it?
Yeah.
They usually don't last long. The mufflers burn out in them.
Yeah, they got a muffler on it, and then I've got I got 3 lawnmowers. I'm gonna sell 2 of them. Well, I really got 4. I gotta put a wheel on one of them.
Just one?
Yeah,
Just
one wheel. One wheel.
I need somebody to push my lawnmower. I don't have any problem with the rest of it.
Yeah, but that's the people come by and want to know, you know, but if these are self-operating, I tell them no.
You got a phone call.
Yeah, I know I do.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you about NAPA while Bob's checking his phone. NAPA Auto Parts up across my IGA, 562-9406.
Hello?
They sell all sorts of parts. They have access to thousands and thousands of supplies and parts and different suppliers throughout the network of the NAPA Auto Parts Association. But they are a locally owned business, and they would certainly appreciate your patronage, even if they do sponsor this show. And we have been known to buy a few parts up there ourselves, and they carry nothing but the best quality auto parts, and they're not just restricted to auto parts. They've got lawnmower parts, and tractor parts, anything to do with motors, engines, and that kind of stuff. I do recommend you go to NAPA 562-9406 if you want to call them up and check on a part. If they don't have it in stock, they can get it for you quick, like this afternoon or tomorrow morning.
Parts. You know, I sold my little farm
Yeah.
and I told that fellow what to do, and he went and got the parts. He put rings and sleeves and bearings, everything in that thing, you know, and said it just purred like a kitten. I said, well, I'd hope it would sound like a tractor.
Yeah, we don't want no kittens pulling our plows.
Right, but he's proud of that thing. He got them at NAPA too, you know. You don't just get automobile parts. You get quality parts from NAPA.
See, I told you the same thing.
Many years, and old Randy up there, locally owned. The money stays here, pays his help here. Just good people to deal with. That's NAPA Auto Parts right across from IGA.
Tell them something else, Bob. I'll be back in just a minute.
You gonna leave me?
Yep, I'll be back in a minute.
Huh?
I'll be right back.
Okay, I think he's got to go to the bathroom, folks.
No,
You can pull your finger before you go.
No.
Yeah, we're tickled to death to be here. You know, I enjoy sitting around and flapping my lips, whether I ever say anything important or not. I'm very, very concerned about the future, the present, and the future of our country. Having lived 70-some years, I've seen a great many changes in my lifetime. Most of them have been, if they were properly used, the changes I've seen have been good. I was born before penicillin, plastic, a number of things that we take for granted now. I wasn't born before electricity, but I lived about the first 14 years of my life without any electricity other than what we had in a battery to power a radio. We used to listen to our short band radio, and we'd hear the speeches of Adolf Hitler coming from Berlin. We would hear Winston Churchill coming from London. We would hear General Charles de Gaulle, wherever he was, you know. He got run out of France, and we went over there, and naturally we took France back for the second time, and then we let General Charles de Gaulle go marching into Paris and through the Arc de Triomphe, just like he had been the one that won the war, you know. But we're bad to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. We have, I think, you know, a lot of young people nowadays are taught that America has not been a good influence on this world. But you know, if you've got turmoil, fighting, strife going on in a country, exactly which army out of all of them in the world would those people rather see come across the top of the hill and coming into their country? Without a doubt, it would be the American Army. Our boys. We may fight hard, but we fight with a certain amount of human dignity in our efforts. We may be getting ready to go into some conflict again in Syria. I doubt that we're going to put troops on the ground, but I think we will employ our air power, our air superiority to tip the balance of power over in Syria, perhaps away from Prime Minister Assad, who is one of the few changes that we've made in the Arab world in the past 3 or 4 years that would take somebody out that was anti-American. All the rest of them we took out, including Gaddafi, was pro-American. And yeah,
we kind of dotted his eyes some time back.
Right. Well, we got all his nuclear apparatus and material over at Oak Ridge, like 30 miles from here.
Well, Krauthammer, when we went up and saw him speak,
right,
he brought up something that I had been considering for a while. He said that sometimes you have to, if it is in the best interest of your people to support somebody else who may not be the most perfect person, as long as it is a benefit to your people, sometimes you have to do that.
Right. And I agree with that.
And I do too. Mubarak, was he the guy? Ain't that the guy that was over Egypt?
In Egypt, yeah.
He wasn't a great guy, and he didn't treat his people as well as we'd like him to, but I'd say he treated them as well as they were used to and as well as they're being treated now. But the point is, he was friendly to us, he was friendly to Israel, he was a calming force in the Middle East.
He had kept peace for 30 years. Yes, and he followed another man who initiated peace in that area, and that was Anwar Sadat.
And they killed him for it.
And they killed him, the Muslim Brotherhood, who is in power now, is the one that assassinated Anwar Sadat, who initiated the first peace treaty between Egypt and Israel.
Now, we'd been better off had we not necessarily put in any military effort to support him, but we could have just kept our nose out of that business and been better off.
Well, we could have let him brought about his successor.
Yeah.
Okay, and with the stipulation that there be some additional democratic moves on the part of the Egyptian government.
Democracy is not always a good thing. It just amounts to mob rule, and when the mob is a bunch of thugs, you're worse off.
Sure. And that's what's happened. Egypt has a long history of fairly educated population, and but the Muslim Brotherhood is so well organized, and they have such a dedicated agenda that they're working for, that they never give any room to change their agenda. If you score a goal on them, you have to chase the goal post all around the field because they keep changing it.
Kind of like negotiating with Obama.
Yeah, said that right. That's what Obama does, is move the goalpost. And so, yeah, I'm very, very concerned that we have backed the wrong horse in too many races.
Well, we should have backed Orb Saturday.
Huh?
We should have backed Orb Saturday.
Yeah, if we'd had our money on Orb Saturday, rather than that one I had it on to come bring up the rear.
I didn't watch that. I ain't seen no reruns of it. How did he do? Was he way ahead or just a little bit?
No, he came from out of the pack going into the, I guess that was the third turn.
Was he slip sliding in the mud?
No, he never made a slip. He cut right on through there, and it was not until way down the back stretch, the home stretch, that he pulled out in front. But he was coming hard.
Well, what about how was he ranked? Was he a surprise, or was he expected to win, or? I never heard of him.
I think the money was on somebody else, but he wasn't really exactly a a dark horse. Okay, he was pretty well equipped, and they said he had a pretty good chance of maybe being a Triple Crown winner.
Well, he break his leg and they'll shoot him.
Huh?
He break his leg and they'll shoot him. We about got in our time, Bob. You need to tell them anything before we go?
Well, tell them that we'll see you tomorrow night on Channel 12. That's WLAF. We also will be back here on UGG TV. You can get us here, and that'll be at 8 o'clock tomorrow night live. And we hope all of you will tune in, and we'll try to maybe say something that might be of interest to you.
Yeah, we're going to go, folks. It's getting busy around here.
Right.
Happy trails.
See ya.
See you.